Right, let's talk about Graham Potter, shall we? Now, 2 or 3 weeks ago, I was doing a show with BeIN team. We were talking about how amazing Graham Potter is, and he's turned it around. They're playing, exciting football now. They're passing, players are shooting from outside the area. They're looking great. Can they win this? Can they win that? Cut to 2 weeks later, on the back of 2 defeats, and people are going, "Oh, is the job too big?" Firstly, two questions? What was your job? What was your view when he got the job, and what's your view now on him at Chelsea?
I said, look, it was going to be a very, very different set of circumstances for Graham with this job compared to the brilliant stuff he'd done before. Right, simple as that. At Brighton, he was excellent. Now, I've seen Chelsea recently a few times. I saw them against AC Milan, far too good for AC Milan. They played very well, both home and away, actually. And I've seen them at home against Man United. I thought they were average at best, Chelsea, that day. I thought that Graham selected the wrong team to start with. He changed it to his credit during the game. They got a little better, but I think if United have had a bit more about them on that day, they'd have took all 3 points at the bridge.
Yeah, I agree with
that. Yesterday, well beaten. Chelsea, well beaten yesterday. Beaten by a sharper, hungrier, just a far more polished all-round team. I thought Arsenal were terrific. Some of their football at times was excellent. They over-elaborated a bit on the edge of the box yesterday. Otherwise, I think they could have scored more. Chelsea have 1 or 2 situations, but not many. And certainly, towards the top of the field at the moment, they're looking devoid of any real connect or any ideas. And they look a bit short in that department. So that is something. Now, that is a problem that I think Frank Lampard had a little bit at Chelsea at the end. Certainly Thomas Tuchel had it at the end. And that is something that Graham's got to get sorted out. Now, he, like a lot of managers, I think all managers want to bring in strikers, and I think and at the top of the Premier League, I think it's vitally important managers get the opportunity to bring in the players, the strikers they want to lead the line to effectively go and win them tournaments, right? Because that's what they do, the best strikers. Now, obviously, Aubameyang, I felt sorry for him yesterday because the service he got was rubbish. He never got anything. He had one situation potentially from Havertz in the first half who could have rolled him something across could have cut one back and given him a chance, and he ended up just like ballooning it out, the worst cross you've ever seen yesterday. And I felt a bit sorry for Aubameyang. He had 4 touches in the first half, centre forward, at home. So clearly going forward at the moment, they need to improve, and they got to improve pretty quickly. Now, the only thing I would say for Graham is when I look at Conte and I look at Tuchel, I look at Klopp, I look at Pep, I look at those managers on the side, and they are frantic, they are kicking every ball, they are contesting every decision, they are ruthless in what they're trying to do and trying to achieve. I don't think Graham can continue to come out and say, beaten by the better team, we'll learn from it, we'll move on.
You're right.
You cannot keep doing that at Chelsea. You can do it at Brighton.
They're Chelsea, you're right. You're so right.
You cannot do that at Chelsea all the time. So that has got to go, all that sort of, I'm keeping everybody together, I'm keeping everybody happy. I think at some point, to be a successful manager at the top of this league, he's going to have to develop that. And I'm sure he is not afraid of making a decision, of course not. But I think there's got to be more of a ruthless element to what Chelsea are trying to do. Because at the moment, I'm looking at them, they're a little bit easy to play against. I think for the best teams.
I'm looking at producer Joe. I'm just trying to. Can I have one more question? Is that all right? Okay, because I know we're pushed for time, producer Joe. If there's a chance, see, I'm going to be honest. When he got the job, right, I didn't think he was the right man. I think I might be proved wrong still, but I think there's a massive step up from doing really, really well at a smaller club like Brighton, and then all of a sudden stepping into a changing room with superstars, with winners, and the expectation levels of not just we need to win a trophy, but we need to win the Premier League, we need to win the Champions League. It's completely different. I might be proved wrong. Who knows, right? It's a long, long way to go. But do you think that with Chelsea and that level of expectation is so high, right? And they used to be a basket case of a club by getting rid of managers. Do you think that he will be given time in that club?
He should be. All coaches need 2 to 3 windows. It's often said that's the sort of period they need. He's dealing with good players, very good players, top players. And he's got his own philosophy that he wants to implement, and you've got to win games whilst you're trying to implement that. But I just think I'm looking at the nature of the way those other guys I mentioned, the way they run their teams, the way they handle their clubs, and I think Graham is still stuck in Brighton mode. And that's what he does. But he's got to he's going to have to find something else, I think, to spark the very best out of the best players, to get more out of those guys, because at the moment, what I've seen recently of Chelsea at the top end of the field, they're nowhere near it.
No, I agree.
Nowhere near it at all.
talkSPORT Drive with Andy Goldstein. Monday to Friday afternoon from 4 on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.